Hey guys, so I wanted to give an update on the trip that we took this weekend. We were going to take it down to Norfolk, Virginia, see the grandkid, get a few miles on the ambulance here. And we started out the trip, not really a problem. Filled it up with diesel. Um, got on the road. It's about, let's call it 4.5 hours from here down to Norfolk, Virginia. The first 200 miles, not a problem. It ran fine, highway speed. We got off the main highway at some point because traffic was really, really bad. So we took the side roads a little bit. There's no reason to just sit bumper to bumper. Anyway, all was doing good. We get down into Norfolk, and I don't know if you're familiar with Norfolk, but lots of bridges, lots of tunnels. It's a very frustrating city to drive around in. Anyway, there's a tunnel on 64, and we were going to go into that tunnel, and they were merging like 4 or 5 lanes down to two. It was rush hour. It was backed up. Traffic's always a mess. Anyway, so there we are. Big ambulance. Nobody wants to let you over. I'm trying to get over. Got my signal on. I'm trying to make my way over. About 3/4 into the lane, engine cuts off. Now, I got lights. I've got gauges. The radio's on. Everything seems to be working except the engine. So I was like, well, I'd stalled it or something. It's kind of weird, but turn it over and over and over and over, and it just does not start. It tries to turn over, no fire. So the VDOT guys come out, the state trooper come out. We get it off the side of the road, and the first tow truck that shows up, because Virginia Department of Transportation has a contract with the towing company to get stuff off the road, keep traffic moving. That's all well and good. His truck wasn't rated to carry the ambulance. It's like I said, it's 12,000 pounds. His truck's only rated for 10. He's like, I need to get a bigger truck out here. He calls a guy. A couple hours later, the bigger truck is supposed to be on the way. So, had my son come out. He picks us up, puts me, the wife, the dog in his car, and he says, we'll take the ambulance, you put it up on the truck. Instead of taking it to my house, take it to my shop. He's got a shop down there. We can work on it there. We can, park it off the road, whatever. So we're like, yeah, let's take it to the shop. Well, I didn't realize how far his shop was from where we broke down and from his house. So it's another half hour further away. We were only like 10 minutes from his house. I thought we were going to go to the house and maybe 5 minutes further to the shop. No, it was another half hour to the shop. But we get it there, we drop it off, and it's a $500 tow bill. It's the fourth time this thing has been on the back of a flatbed. Tons of money already. So we're like very frustrated, very not happy with it. We go out the next day, do some troubleshooting with it, put the computer on it, and it says basically the injector driver module is gone. So there's two computers, more or less, on this thing, the injector driver module and the powertrain control module. So the scanning computer says the IDM, injector driver module, is bad. So like, where are we going to get a computer on Labor Day weekend holiday? Well, luckily we found one. It was 5 minutes down the road. O'Reilly's said they had it. So we're like, yes, let's go get it. They went to go get it, and they looked all over that store. They did not find it. The computer said they had one, but it's not there. So we said, we'll go ahead and order it. They said if they order it, they can have it there to the next day, which would have been Sunday. So we're like, yeah, let's go ahead and order it. $400 for the computer. Now, I think 99 of that was the core charge when we brought the other one back, so it's still $300 for a computer, but $400 out of pocket. And so we go home, get some time with the grandkid, hang out, whatnot. We go the next day, 12:30. They got the computer in. Great, let's go. Take it to the shop, plug it in, fires right up. Great. Let it run for a minute, try a few things. Everything's working great. So we put everything back together, put the airbox in, put the wirings back like it's supposed to be, put all the interior back together, start it up, drive from the shop to the house. About 30 miles, more or less. Ran like a top, not a problem. Great. We're done. So the next morning, would have been Monday morning, the holiday, we're going to go home. So we pack everything up in the van and put the wife and the dog and, like, all right, let's go. So we started up and it's got kind of a rough idle. And it's done this to me before. Pardon my hand there. I'm holding it because I don't have my stand in here. And we're like, it's kind of got a rough idle. So let's let it idle for a minute, see if it clears up, which it had done before. And it didn't. So we're like, well, let's go up to the shopping center up the road, pull in and see if it cleans up. And it didn't. And we're like, well, we'll put a few miles on it and see if it'll clear up as we go. Because every time it's done this before, within 5 or 10 minutes, it starts running better. So, well, let's just go. Because we had to get back home. And I'm not towing this thing 400 miles or whatever the distance is between here and there. So we drive up the road and we're taking the back roads, trying to keep it off the main highway, trying not to stress it, because it would drive, but it would be low on power. It didn't like to go up hills or bridges or anything like that. So we take the back roads and we get up towards Port Royal. And I don't know if you're familiar with Port Royal, but there's a big bridge near there over Dahlgren. And the Dahlgren River Bridge is really steep and long and all that, and traffic sucks. And I was like, this thing's way low on power. I don't want to try to drive over that bridge and piss off everybody, because it was really, really hurting for power. So we diverted over to 95 and took the long way up, and it was a long trip. It would run, eventually it could get to highway speed. Hold on a second, I gotta move my hand here a little bit. There we go. Eventually it would get to highway speed. As long as we didn't go up a hill or traffic didn't stop, we were going to be okay. So it took us 7.5 hours to get home, and it ran like crap the whole way. It was down on power. It was running almost like it was on 5 of 8 cylinders. But we pulled in the yard, got it home, turned it off. A day or two later, I come out here to start it up, turn it on, and it won't even start. It'll turn over and over and over. You might get 2 or 3 chugs out of it, and then that's it. So I had a friend of mine come over, put his computer on it, and he said the PCM is bad, the other computer. So we have another computer on order. It should be here tomorrow or the next day. And both of the computers on this thing are a pain to get to. The PCM is the hardest one because it is literally the worst place. It's in the middle of the engine bay, underneath the dash, up against the firewall, behind 2 plastic covers that you can barely get to, masses of wires in the way. I don't think there's a worse place on this truck for there to be a computer plugged in, but there it is. So that computer luckily was only $140 or something like that. Hopefully we'll plug it in and it'll work. We shall see. But as of right now, we have no confidence in it. We were planning a vacation that we're doing in May. We pushed it to November. We've taken it off the table completely at this point. Even if this thing gets running this weekend, I don't know when we will have faith in it to go anywhere but to the end of the street and back. So, the plan's still kind of the same as far as get it running and drive it. But every time we drive it somewhere, we end up towing it back, and it is very frustrating, And I keep telling myself, and some of the other guys are saying, I was like, well, you're fixing all the problems, so it's getting better. And yeah, but that doesn't make it any less expensive. We've put a bunch of money into it, and this last weekend, a little over $1,000 just to go down and bring it back. And we didn't even camp in it. That's the thing, is we took it to go camping and we didn't even sleep in it, because one night it was in the shop yard, 2 nights it was in the shop yard, and the other night, we had already been in the house for 2 nights. Why were we going to go sleep in the van just to leave the next day? So we may take a trip next month, maybe. I don't know. It really kind of depends on whether it's going to run. We're hoping it will. We put a ton of work into it, so we want to kind of see the end result of that. Take it for a weekend camping trip and camp in it and sleep in it and eat a meal in it and that sort of thing, and use it as camper. But at this point, we don't know how far we can actually take it. So far, the most at any one time I've put on it is 200 miles. Literally 200. At 201, it broke. So But yeah, right now it's sitting here blocking up the driveway. I can't move it right now. I pulled in behind my little daily driver car and blocked it in the other day. That was a fun moment trying to get that out. Me and a couple of the other guys in here doing the Austin Powers back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, an inch or two at a time just to get it around it. But it's out now. So, anyway, post your comments, post your snarky responses and whatnot, and I'll let you know if I come up with anything else. Bye, guys.